Hi, welcome to the Gear Garage. My name is Zach, and this is my fun little internet show about whitewater stuff, about kayaking, rafting, whatever, and river guiding too. And if you don't know, I own my own rafting company. It's called Northwest Rafting Company. It's something I'm really proud of that I get to do. We do mostly multi-day trips. So we do the Rogue, Middle Fork of the Salmon, Illinois, the Chetco, the Oahe, and just a few other fun things. And everything we do is pretty cool. And at least I think it's cool. It may not be cool, but I think it's pretty cool. And every year we hire a couple new guides, 2, maybe 3 guides, and we probably get 20 or 30 applications. And I'm pretty blown away by how unprofessional a lot of the initial applications are, just the initial people contacting us to get a job. So I just want to talk about some do's and don'ts on how to apply to be a river guide. And these mainly apply to us, but I think they also apply to probably any rafting company or just getting a job in general. And I think a lot of times people might think that applying for a river company is sort of like a casual thing, and quite honestly, like it's good to be professional. I think that's just a general thing. It's just be professional. Treat it like you're putting yourself out there to work as a professional for a professional company. If you're applying for kind of a not professional company, it's fine not to do that. But I think most rafting companies feel like they're pretty professional. So just a couple things to avoid. First of all, don't talk about what you want out of the job. A lot of people in their initial email to me might say like, I really want to move out west, or I really want to work on rivers I've never seen or explore new rivers. And I understand that those are reasons why you'd want to work somewhere new, but don't start off with what you want out of the deal. You should start off with something that's more like, I really love rivers and I love guiding, and I want to go serve people on rafting trips. I want to be a great guide. Come out what you have to offer, not with what you want out of having a job. Avoid using Facebook to contact us for jobs. We have a lot of people send us Facebook messages, or they'll use Facebook and write on our wall like, hey, what do I need to do to apply? That's just a tacky way to start the conversation. You should definitely start off with a phone call or a letter or an email. I'll talk about that more in a second. Please don't ask us to call you. Like, send us an email and say, call me for more information. You should explain yourself well and in the email, and we'll get back to you. Don't worry. But you don't need to ask us to call you. And finally, don't call us mate or bro or dude. We'll probably be mates someday, although I don't really use the word mates in my life. But like, this is you applying for a job, and that just tells me you're looking for a mate or a bro, not a job. And so you should use things like my name, or even dear sir. I'm not really a person who goes by sir, but in that initial thing, it might be a good idea to be professional. Dear owner, dear hiring manager, or just look at our website and find out who runs the company and write dear Zach, or dear Michael, who I work with. He actually does all the applications. So those are some things to avoid. Things that you should do that are pretty straightforward is, a great way to apply would be to write a letter. Just sit down. The more effort you put into your initial thing, the more it shows me you actually want to work. So sit down and write a letter. Get a typewriter out and just start typing. Dear hiring manager, dear Zach, dear Michael, dear whoever, I'm really interested in working for you. And then go on and do some research. Learn about our company just a little bit, right? I see that you do rivers around the West. What you do is fascinating to me. I also appreciate your ethics. If you just tell us why we're great, you're going to butter us up a little bit. So I would ideally do that in a letter and put a letter in the mail. That just shows some effort. Or you can do an email, right? Email's fine, but if you do an email, do again some personalization in there. Write dear so and so. Don't just. It's pretty obvious when you wrote a quick email and you just cut and paste it and sent it to 50 companies. We can tell that. So there should be some personalization. And before you do, give us a call. Just be like, hey, I'm just checking in about how to apply for a job and want to ask you some questions, right? For us, and I think most companies, we want to make sure that you're getting a job that you want, right? So if you just do a little, 5-minute, hey, can I ask somebody some questions about what it's like working for you, what you offer, it shows that you're doing some research. And then when you write your email or your initial letter, you can say, hey, I talked to so-and-so, I really like this and this and this, I'm excited to explore this further. That goes a long, long way. And then you should definitely, anything you write, whether it's an initial email or just a letter, you should proofread it. It's amazing how many people apply to us in an initial email and don't use complete sentences, or don't spell words right, or whatever. And when you attach any kind of resume or that you have, or river log or whatever initial letter, if you attach it as a file, you should attach it as a PDF, right? A lot of people attach it as a Word doc, which isn't terribly professional. It's pretty easy to export it as a PDF, and you control the formatting, right? If you export as a PDF, you make sure you know what it looks like. A lot of times I open things up on a Mac and things all look crazy, and it underlines all your misspelled words, so I immediately know you spelled words wrong. And that, to me, that just says you don't really care that much. And as an employer, I care about the people that work for me, and I put a lot of effort and energy into them. And I expect in at least that initial application that you cared enough to spell everything right, to use complete sentences, and then export it as a PDF to control the way that it looks. It represents you. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about applying for a job, add a question in down below. I'd be happy to talk about it. If you have anything to add, if you're another employer and you're like, oh, by the way, here's some other good things you might want to know about applying for a job as a professional, please add a comment. It's fun for me to talk about. And that's it. And if you applied, send me a letter. I love letters in the mail. That's the best first impression. All right, thanks. Bye.